Okay. Okay, guys. So from now on, what I care about is gonna be the countdowns, all the little money bags, because those are the ones that we're trying to bank on to make sure that we do good. They'll be given to you by days. They're locked. Like for example, Tuesdays will be locked. Monday should be open. It'll be locked after 7 p.m. Make sure you submit at 7 p.m. I am not taking late work for the rest of the year. Please get that through your head that I will not be taking late work. Okay? So on Mondays, which is today's, I'm recording tomorrow's already today. You'll have the YouTube video always, some instructions maybe, and then of course the teacher meet. This needs to be submitted by 7 p.m. There's 12 problems, 1 through 12. And I did half of them, so you really have 6 to do by yourself, 6 to do with me together. All 12 problems need to be given to Mr. Ramirez on a separate paper the next day, and all 12 problems need to be submitted on Monday at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, Tuesday, you'll have same thing from here to start. It'll be the same thing always. A money bag, teacher made, video, submit. Especially right now that I'm not there, you'll probably have videos pre-recorded. Okay, so I'm recording right now for Tuesday, that's why you don't have a video yet. Mondays, you should be working on that right now. These that I'm going to do today are a little bit harder, so you need to pay more attention to them. So let me start with those. So it says here, Amalia bought a rug that had a 25% discount off its regular price. The amount of the discount was $48. What was the regular price? Okay. So basically on this guy, they want to know the regular price. I'm still going to go with my proportion. So Amalia bought a rug that had a 25% discount. So this 25% here is my discount. So on my paper, I'm going to say number 13. 25%. And this will be the discount. And now all I'm doing is I'm reading and labeling. Okay, the amount of the discount was 48. So this 48 is the actual dollar amount. But it's also the discount. So they want to know the original price. The regular price is the original price they don't want the discount because they already gave you that information, the discount percent, the discount in quantity. I'm still going to set up a proportion, so I'm going to go my proportions, 25%. It's always out of 100. This would be the total. 25. That would be the discount. This discount is a percent discount. Now the 48 is also the discount, but the actual dollar amount. So this percent is a discount that they gave you. This is the actual amount that discount represents. I need the original price. That's why I need the total. What was the original total? Once you set it up, we always do what we need to do, which is 25 times X. That would be 25X. All this needs to be done on a separate paper. 48 times 100. There's 2 zeros. I can put those 2 first. At the end, 48 times 1 will be 48. Okay, set M. This means multiply, and number next to a letter means multiply. So to solve for X, we do the inverse, which is to divide by 25, divide by 25. That cancels. Now I'm ready to divide. 4,800 divided by 25. Put your decimal at the end. 4, that's not enough. 48, that's enough. So times 1, would be 25. That would be 3. That would be 2. One digit at a time. To 30. I'm gonna take a guess on the side. I'm gonna guess maybe 9. I'm gonna go with 9. 18 to 25. Yep, 9 it is. And the reason I went with 9 is because there's only one that goes to the hundreds. See that? So I'm going with 9 as being the next one. This is 5. Don't forget to bring the next one down. 50 will be 2 now because so the original price was $192. So the regular price was B. They gave you a discount of 48. Now sometimes the store may ask you how much did you pay, so you would have to do another step, which would be 192 is the original and then deduct the discount. This problem did not ask you for that, so I'm just saying that they could ask you that question to make it more complicated. Okay, if you notice that answer will not be there because they're not asking for that, but they could have asked what was the price that you would pay for the rug. Well, you still would have to figure out the original price by doing what I did, which is the regular price, original price, and then deduct. So this is not part of the work. I'm just saying in case they would have done that. Let me just get rid of that. So I want to confuse you. Okay. All they wanted was the original. The original is 192. The way I did number 13, that's the way you have to do number 14. Okay. The important thing again is to label, label, label. Make sure you read and label, so you know how to set up this. The next question is number 15. Okay. I think I'm gonna go with this side. Because I think this one's harder, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna go 16, you'll do 15. So it says a school band practice for 3 hours. They spend 1/2 hour warming up. Then the students practice in groups for 24 minutes. They spend the rest of the time practicing performing pieces altogether. What percent of the band's practice was spent on the pieces? Okay, so the question one, they would do on the percentages time. And which one? On the ones they perform the pieces. Okay, now this is not good because it's in hours, so I have to change that to minutes. This is not good because it's in hours again, 1/2 hour. Change it to minutes. This one is okay. When we're gonna set up reports, we cannot have them in different units. So I'm gonna start with the 3 hours. So the 3 hours, that's gonna change to 180 minutes. Why? Because 1 hour equals 60 minutes, and there's 3 of them, so it's gonna be 60 minutes times 3. So the 180 minutes was spent practicing. That means this would be the total. The school band practiced for 3 hours, 180 minutes. So I found the first thing. They spend half an hour warming up. Okay, so 1/2 an hour. So if 1 hour is 60 minutes, half hour will be 30 minutes. So 30 minutes. And that would be warming up. Half hour equals 30 minutes. So there's another thing that I just changed. So if you notice, I care about everything in minutes. 180 minutes. 30 minutes. This is a total, and this is warming up so far. The students practice in groups for 24 minutes. Okay, so this one was already ready in minutes. 24 minutes. And this is when they practice as a group. There we go, that's ready. And then spend the rest of the time practicing the pieces. So you notice they don't really tell me what's the rest of the time, so I'm gonna have to do some calculations here. So first of all, I'm gonna add all these that we do know that they practice. So we have 180. And these are the tougher ones. That's why we have to be more careful and you have to read. So we have 4, 13, 234. So 234 was the total. My bad. I just realized that this is the total. Rewind. Okay. So we have the total being 180, but we need to add these. 30 was warming up. 24 was with a group, and then the rest that we don't know was with actually performing the pieces. So we first have to add these. So it's 15 minutes, and then we have to subtract from 180 so we can find out how much was the time that they practice on the pieces, because that's what they're asking in the question, the pieces. So I want to do that minus 54. Okay, so now we have what we need. So 30 minutes was warming up, 24 minutes was with a group, and 126 minutes was practicing. So this is 126 minutes was practicing the actual pieces. You see the pieces? So there's the other one that I needed. Okay. They want the percentage of this. That's why we had to figure out, okay, how many minutes did they practice on the pieces? So now that we have all the stuff that we need, we're going to set a proportion again. They do 100%, so I know it's going to be X out of 100 because we don't know the percent. The 100 is the total from percent. The X is the percent of the pieces. Then we know the pieces. Now we do know the minutes of the pieces, so we can put that here. Do we know the total practice time? Yes, it's right here, total practice. That's why you have to label what's what. There we go. So 180 times X. A 126 times 100. Again, we have two zeros. And then 126 times 1. That'll be 12,600. Divided by 180 because it's M. Divided by 180. You have trailing zeros, so I can get 1 for 1. So the real problem that I have to divide will be 1,260. I'm going to go over here, 1,260 divided by 18. Okay, we got rid of the zeros at the end. Those are gone. That's like simplifying. 1, that's not enough. 12, that's still not enough. 126, that's enough. Okay, so 18 times something. So if you notice, you only have 7 and you have 3s. So either one. I'm gonna go with 3. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna go with 7 instead. 7 times 1, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, 7. I'm glad that I went with 7. Now, one mistake that you might make here, you might see, oh, 7, and you might want to get this guy. But we still haven't worked with this 0. You can't forget about that 0 at the end. So it's actually 70% of the time they were practicing on the pieces. So X would be 70 out of 100, which is a percent. The way I did number 16 is the way you have to do number 15. So you have 2 hours, you go to check, change that to minutes. She mowed for 45 minutes. She raked for 33 minutes. And then the weeding is the rest of the time. So I'm going to have to add these two, subtract from the total. So we can find out the weeding just like I did over here. I have to first add what we already knew. Subtract from the total. So I can figure out what the pieces, the performance pieces practice was. This is a tough one. So it requires a lot of reading and thinking and labeling. So be careful with number 15. Okay, this is going to be another tough one. Your question here will change and your teacher made there's a mistake here, but I'm going to do number 18 because 18 is harder. And 17, the question will change on your end because there was a mistake from the book. So let me do number 18. So we can forget about that guy right now. Okay, Jessamine bought 3 notebooks that cost $2.25 each and a pen that cost 75 cents. Sales tax on her purchase was 6%. What was the amount of the sales taxes? Okay. So again, the notebooks are 3 notebooks. It's number 18. Now each of them is 225. So I'm gonna have to multiply first. 225 times 3 so I can figure out how much the notebooks cost. That'll be 15, 6, 7, 6, and then we have 2 in the decimal place. So 1, 2, so 675 for the notebooks. But then you bought a pen that was 75 cents. So I'm gonna have to go 675 and then buy a pen. Important to line up the decimals when you're adding. So the cost is 750. So this is the notebook. This is a notebook. Labeling is going to be important, guys. This is the pen, and this is the total. Now you're going to pay taxes, 6%. That is the taxes in percentage. Set up a proportion again. We know the percent is 6%, so it's 6 out of 100. The 100 would be the total. The 6 is the taxes in percent. 750 is your total. And they want to know the taxes of the total. So that would be your X. And then we just do it 100X. $750 times 6, so it's like 750 times 6, 245. There's 2 of them. 1, 2, $45. So for 100x, Saturn tells you to divide. What you do to one side, do to the other. Bottom out. Okay. 4, is that enough? No. 45, is that enough? Tampoco. 450, yes, times 4 would be 400. Bring it down, times 5 would be 500. So the taxes is 45 cents. Which is letter F. So the way I did number 8, and so you're going to do number 17, the question will change. Let me show you. This is part 2. So there's your real question. What percent of the students are not wearing socks? So you first have to figure out. There's 8 that are wearing white socks. Twice as many are wearing blue. So you have to figure out what the blue is. So twice as many times 2. So you can find out. And then the remaining 6 are not wearing socks. So once you have all your stuff, here you have to add them. So we can figure out the total and then figure out the percentage that are not wearing socks. Okay. Let's go now to the next one. I'm gonna do I guess I'll do this one. Well, let me do the grocery. I think the grocery is tougher. No, I'll do number 19. A bouquet contains 6 roses and 9 daisies. This represents 75% of the flowers in the bouquet. How many total flowers are in the bouquet? Okay. So I want to know the total flowers. So we start, there's 6 roses. It's number 19. Don't forget to label the number that you're working on. There's 9 daisies. And then there's something else, we don't know the other flowers. Okay, so there's some other type of flower because it's only 75%. So 75%, these are the flowers, but not all of them. This represents 70% of the flowers. So these 75% of these flowers are only these 2. So you have to be careful with that. See, they get tougher and tougher. So the first 12 were pretty easy. These are getting tougher because you really have to think what they're reading. The reason is so important. So I'm still gonna set up a proportion, but you have to be very, very careful here. So we have 75%. I'm gonna have 100 and get the eraser. Okay. Now this is the total. The 75 would be only the roses and daisies. So I'll just put RD. Okay. Now they want to know the total flowers, but we never found out who were the other ones. But how are you gonna figure it out is this. You have to add these 2 because that's what we know only. 9 plus 6, that would be 15. So you see the roses and daisies, they go together because they're the 75% of flowers. So they will go on the top, and then this will give me the total flowers. So 75 times X. 100 times 15. That'll be 1500. Again, all I'm just doing is 2 zeros at the end. There's 2 zeros at the end. 15 times 1 is 15. Divided by 75. Divided by 75. Again, here I had to add because these 75% are the flowers that they mentioned there in the store. So I have to add them so I can make sure I put them there. That's why the labeling is important. These are not all the flowers. It's just the roses and the daisies. Okay, let me continue here. This cancels. 1500 divided by 75. I'm going to go over here to the side. That's them at the end. And here we go. 1, is that enough? Nope. 15, is that enough? Nope. 150? Yes. I'm gonna guess 75 times. I'm gonna guess 2. And it's exactly 2. No, you're not done because you still have that 0. So we drop that 0. There's nothing left. So we just add a 0. So now I know that there's a total of 20 flowers. This would be the total of all of them. Now another question that they could ask is, could say, how many flowers are the rest of the flowers? Well, now that you know that there's 20, I can subtract 20 minus 15 to find the rest of the flowers. They're not asking you that, but they could have asked you that. So this one is just one of the total flowers. It's going to be 20. Total. So it will be 20.00 positive. So make sure you punch it in like that. And on your classroom, you have to punch it in right here. Make sure you punch it in positive 20.00. Please punch it in like that. The last question is going to be question 21. Question 21. This is for Tuesday's work. So the circle graph describes the colors of balls of yarn in a bag. So we have 50% red, 30% blue, and then yellow. They didn't give it to you. Now you need to understand that the whole thing is 100%. It's like if you get the whole test correct, that's 100%. So before I even start anything, I need to figure out the percent of that yellow. So if there's 50 and 30, that would be 80% already. Let's go with the pink now. 80% is between these two. So how much more do I need? So I will need 20 more percent to get to the 100. So obviously yellow has to be 20%. So that's the first thing I would make sure I know what yellow is. Now we have all the percentages. We have 50, 30, and 20 gives you the whole thing 100%. When you do this one, same thing, you have to figure out what the missing piece here by adding these and then subtracting from 100 so you can get there. Now, there are 8 yellow balls, so they gave me the percent of the balls plus the yellow balls. The question wants the total balls. So they want, what's the total number of balls? Okay. So I'm going to set my proportion again. And since they gave us the percent of the yellow and the yellow balls, I'm going to go with that one. So 20 out of 100. This would be the total, which is the whole circle. And 20 is the yellow. I'm going to put a Y. Now they also told us that there's 8 yellow balls. So I can put 8 on the top. And then X would be the total of all the balls, which would be total number of balls. It goes with the total. And there it is. 20 times X. 20X. 8 times 100. That would be 80. I mean 800. 800. Divided by 20. This cancels. Divided by 20. This makes it easier by canceling 1 for 1. 80 divided by 2 is basically cut it in half. So the answer would be 40. There should be 40 balls together. So all of them should have, all together, we have 8. These two will be together 40. They don't want to know specifically how many red, how many blues. That's good. So we just say, okay, the total balls would be 40. Letter C. The way I did number 21, that's the way you can do number 22. So these are way tougher. A lot of reading is required on these. And some extra like adding and subtracting. And the main thing, if you notice, is that you have to label a lot, guys. I labeled a lot. um, so I can know what I'm doing. Especially these that require, okay, in minutes, and then have to figure out, okay, these are the total minutes. These are the minutes warming up. This is the minutes by the group. And then we have to figure out the practice minutes of the performance pieces by subtracting. So it's a lot of work that you have to read and kind of like figure out what they want. Okay, so these are tougher. You're gonna have to take your time on them. And that's it for percentage problems. Tomorrow I'm gonna start with properties, but with algebra. That will be Wednesday's work. So Wednesday will be properties with algebra. Thursday will probably continue properties with algebra. And then on Friday I'll just give you a little test on everything that you did these 4 days. And that's it. Please be responsible, turn in all the work by 7 p.m.